Hi all, Mark Longman here. A real simple tool I want to share is, I'll call it the Disney tool, but it's a way of ideating, a way of really creatively exploring options and opportunity. I'll call it Disney Way because I was lucky enough to get to spend some time with Duncan Wardle. He is the former head of creativity and innovation at Disney. Actually spent 30 years at Disney. He was in PR and marketing, and then 10 years as the head of creativity and innovation for Disney. So arguably, the most creative company in the world. And I encourage you to look up some of Duncan's stuff. He's got some great talks and some great presentations online that you can have a look and share. But anyway, look, I was lucky enough to spend some time with him. He was lucky enough to be trapped in a car with me. Hi, Duncan. So one of the things, and look, the driving experience was pretty interesting. So obviously, I needed to help him get to a couple of appointments. He was here for some speaking engagements, and I got to be the one nominated to drive him to a couple of things. My reputation as a driving instructor, I think, is completely shattered now. But the driving part was fine. The navigating was the issue. And cut a long story short, we ended up having a really good tour of the Perth Central Business District. I may have been in the wrong lane for where I needed to turn, and so we had to do a around the block trip. We may have had to do that twice, it was an eventful car trip, and look, I got to do a workshop with Duncan as well, and it was great getting to spend some time with him, and I certainly learnt a lot and really appreciate the valuable content that and just the knowledge I was able to get from him, and so just this creative approach to thinking and problem solving is I think is vital to what we do. And so what he showed us this technique that apparently Walt Disney himself used to use, and it's basically just getting just a piece of paper, whatever, and breaking this down into three things. And it's basically a list of the rules, which is really just look what's currently going on. What is it that we have to do? What is it that we can't do? And as a result, you'll end up with this list of the rules. So all the things we have to do, and as well as look what are things we can't do. And then your next column is what if. So what if we did such and such, and you can explore off each of these rules. You can explore some what if. So for instance, I've done this recently at a strategy session with a team, and we explored all the current rules. So they were having some issues within the team. There were things that they were unhappy with in the workplace, and so what we did is we compiled a list of rules, and the rules were simply look, well, what do we have to do? So and things that came out were things like we have to use this system, we have to use this software application, we're not allowed to do these things, and they came up with a big list of rules of things that actually happen in the workplace that are the way things are done. So then the next part of that was exploring, okay, so what if? And that would be, what if we didn't have this system? What if we didn't have this? What if we were able to do this? And you come up with a broad range of things. So what it requires is you have to approach this stuff with a real open mindset, or we'll call it an expansive thinking. So you can't at this point put any barriers on things like, oh, well, that will never happen. We've tried that before. We don't have the money for that. You have to just let that stuff all go for the purpose of this activity, because the whole idea here is about idea generation. So by leaving that stuff out, it allows you to explore everything. Everything is open to being put on the table or put on the sheet of paper. So what if we didn't have this system? So we'll explore that one. So you come up with a list of what ifs, and then you can get the group to really drill into one of these what ifs. So if we pick out, for instance, okay, one of the rules is we have to work with this system, and we don't like this system, and we believe that it's hampering our productivity, we believe it's hampering work, it adds additional work to us. So the what if becomes, what if we didn't have this system? So then our next stage, our third column becomes, right, imagine if. And again, we're still, we're not bringing in any barriers here around financial commitments or, you know, barriers that might prevent this from happening or that we've tried things for. So imagine if we didn't have this system, what would that look like? And then the participants, you can actually explore that and really come up with these brilliant ideas around what the future might actually look like. You know, using your imagination, being imaginative, being creative, and really exploring out this whole concept of imagine if it was this. And so we did that in the workshop, and we actually came up, we put them into groups of 4. We had, I think it was 4 or 5 groups of 4. There were about 20 people there. And they all explored these different topics with this imagine if mindset. And they did this twice. So they explored different things of, you know, different what ifs. And as a result, of course, we ended up with, I'm pretty sure there were 5 groups there, so we ended up with 10 different ideas to take back to management that could be implemented to actually improve things. So they've come into this strategy session feeling quite disempowered, feeling quite negative about the workplace, feeling like they're not able to have influence over their workload, over the way work is done, over processes and procedures, to the result that, you know, 2 hours later, we've explored all of those things. We've then looked at what if we did things differently, and then we've imagined if, and we've come up with 10 different really good ideas to actually take back to management and go, hey, imagine if we did this. This is what we want to do. This is how it would look. This is the benefit that it will have. And this is how we could implement it. Here's what we could start doing now. And so look, so it's a really simple strategy to help you brainstorm, to help you come up with great things. You can use this in your own life. So, you know, jot down the rules of things. What is it that you're doing now? What is it that you're not doing? What if? Start to explore some what ifs around that, and then really explore the imagine piece. Imagine if, boom, boom, boom. How would that look? How would this look in 12 months' time? What would your future look like? What would you be doing? What would you be experiencing? How would things be different? So I encourage, look, give it a try. It's a great tool, and I think, you know, it's a really great way of coming up with these ideas that you otherwise would not, when you get stuck and bogged down by the barriers and the things we've tried before and the reasons why we can't do stuff, and instead just really open up your imagination, be creative, and you would be amazed at some of the solutions you can come up with.